Hey YouTube, it's me, DJ Winza. Today I'm going to be showing you guys the character creator from 3 different free-to-play MMOs and explaining a little bit about the characters you can play in there. I'm going to make them short, sweet, and give you as much information as I know about all of it, but I don't know much because I don't play the games all too much. I'm usually on Champions. Anyway, let's go. The first game I'm showcasing is a game called El Sword. If you've been playing freebie MMOs for a while, you might have heard of its predecessor called Grand Chase. They just released the 3rd character from that old game. Let me actually show you the character creation screen. If you look down there, you'll see that they actually have action going on for the character itself. This is Elsis. She fights with a sword, and you know, there's also El Sword himself who does the same thing. The 2 characters are very, very similar, although they have given El Sword all of his later classes, whereas she only has her first set of 2. Then there's Aisha, who's a mage, obviously magic user. Rina, who is obviously an archer, as you can see by that giant bow in her hand. Raven, who he's kind of interesting. He fights all melee, pretty much like El Sword and Elsis, but he has, I suppose you can call it, monk kind of attacks because of this robotic arm right here. And he hits pretty doggone hard, especially when you choose 1 or 2 of his arm-based later classes. Anyhow, then there is Eve, who I guess she could be considered a cleric, considering most of the skills that she had when I played her were buffs and debuffs. She fights using these 2 little robots that are floating around her. Then there's Chung, who uses this giant cannon as a melee weapon. He's pretty much the tank of all the characters, from my experience. And then there is Ara, who uses this spear here, and she's really, really fast, but I actually deleted her before I started doing this recording because I just couldn't handle playing her. Your mileage may vary, but she moved around a little too much during her attacks for my taste. I just, you know, spin around past the enemy and then off of a platform, and that got annoying. But anyhow, that's El Sword, and I'll be right back with another game. Alright, I banged my microphone while I was doing that, but oh well. This is Rusty Hearts. By the way, if you've been watching since the first little clip, all the links to their homepages are in the doobly-doo down below. This game is what I like to call a combination between Double Dragon and Castlevania, because one of the characters is a vampire. But anyway, you get to choose when you go to the character select screen, and yes, I'm going to be showing the character select screens because I don't have the time to do full showcases of all the action, because it takes a little bit to get into the action here. You actually have to select a dungeon, and most of the dungeons my characters are of level 4 are way too easy for them. Anyhow, you choose essentially your class. One of them is the sword, axe, and twin sword, I guess you could call it fighter, kind of class. And you get 3 characters: France, Roselle, giggity, and Layla, who's a little girl. And as you progress, you go from regular sword, which you can keep using if you really want to, or axe, or twin swords. It's really up to you which branch of the character's skills you want to go through. On my fronts, I actually went with axe, but anyhow, moving on. Next up is, I guess we can call it the mage class. There are only 2 characters, Angela and Edgar, and their primary weapon is the magic sword, which is slow but hits kind of hard, but you're better off using your magic attacks anyway. Then there is the scythe, which is a little bit faster and requires a little bit more finesse, but also strikes really hard, and the magic spells change when you switch weapons. Then there is the glaive. I personally haven't used this weapon. It's, I guess, a halberd from what the video makes it appear as. So, yes, I have not used that particular one, but I have used the magic sword and the scythe. I'm more of a scythe kind of guy. And Edgar's a little bit faster than Angela, but they pretty much have the same skills. Then there's Tude and Malin Chen, the monks. They basically fight with their bare hands. They've got regular gauntlet, which is just a gauntlet on one arm. Then there's claws, which is the same as the gauntlet, as in on one arm, but does more slashes and is a little slower but hits harder. And then there's demon hands, which is all about speed. You want to hit with rapid punches, you go with the demon hands. I've got one of each of them. I wasn't a fan of the gauntlets fighting style, but I've tried both demon hands and claws, and both are pretty darn good. I believe Malin Chen has the demon hands and Tude has the claw. On my account, that is. And finally, Natasha. I can't really describe what her skills are similar to, other than, I guess you could call it a ranger kind of thing. She basically just used guns. Her primary weapon is revolvers. She can also get a musket, which, you know, slower, hits harder. And then weapon bag, which... this one's kind of weird. It makes most of her skills more explosives than types of bullets, or blasts, rather than types of bullets. All in all, it's a pretty decent weapon. I haven't used it, I've only seen it in action. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway, though that is the kind of characters you can create in this game, and I will see you with the next game. And now, Star Trek Online. STO. I don't really play this game much because it has a core game mechanic that actually engages in a personal phobia of mine. I'm fairly certain I'm the only person I know that even has anything that comes close to this. I just have this phobia of... a good example would be not jumping into a lake unless I could see the bottom. And, you know, that's why I don't play this game much, because the entire cosmos in the game, and by the way, Cosmos, awesome show. If you're a Christian zealot, I don't care. Good science is good science. Anyway, as you may have noticed, this is yet another showcase of character creators. This one has a lot in common with Champions Online. The main reason is it is literally made by the same people. Now, there are a few differences, obviously. You can change your race at the push of a button. Some of them, obviously, you have to pay for. I don't know what that is. Aw, you have to pay for Klingon? Well, you know, actually, that's an opposite faction. So, yeah, if you're going to go with Starfleet, you actually have to pay to unlock Klingon. My bad. But, yeah, there's... I don't know much about the different races, but I do know that you can create your own race. That's why it says alien. And you get to do one trait of your choice. So, then there is the classes. Engineering, science. Wow, the center science officer actually looks like the lady who played the Vulcan in one of the older Star Trek movies, and I think they chose that on purpose. Anyway, and then there's tactical. Obviously, tactical are the damage dealer kind of characters. Science are the status ailment and healers of any kind of team. And engineering, oddly enough, are the tanks, because they use shields for everything. And these abilities also transfer over when you're flying your ships out in space combat. Tactical obviously give you improved phasers and photon torpedoes. Science gives you ways of removing your enemy's shields, and so on and so forth, where that's concerned. Engineering handles improving your own shields, improving your own armor, and assorted other goodies that are more defensive than offensive or support. And there are ships that specialize in these as well. But yeah, you can choose from all sorts of different races. If you go with Romulan, you only have Romulans and Alien, and you have to pay to unlock Remans. And then there is Klingon, which I don't know why that was selected. Apparently, the cat people are on both Starfleet and Klingon sides, but you have to pay for them. Apparently, I see a race that I didn't realize was even there for player characters. Gorn! I know what I'm going to be playing when I actually decide to get back into this game. But anyway, they've got all sorts of different kinds of alien races. Is this one Orions? Okay. And of course, alien. And yes, they have the same classes. It's pretty much the same across all three factions, but each race has their own specific traits that'll either affect while you're doing away missions or space combat. Okay. Now, you may be thinking, well, okay, what are these aliens that you keep stopping on? Well, they are the ones that have the most alterations you can do. You can completely change the shapes of their faces, the texturing. It has better detail than the Champions Online character creator. Like, if you look up close, there's a lot more shading, there's a lot more wrinkles, and different shapes of the head and the different parts of the face. But these are completely up to you, however you want your character to look. And obviously they also get hair. You can change their animations, standard, brawler, creature, and so on and so forth. You can change their costumes. Ceremonial armor, apply to character. Classic tunic, apply to character. These are just examples, because you can actually change things like, the shirt, the shoulder pauldrons, the pants. Sometimes the costume or the equipment that you get to replace your outfit will do something, and it's going to let you change what your character looks like and have the bonuses. Although it's been a long time since I played this game, so I'm not sure if they let you just change the way your character's costume looks and keep all the bonuses from whatever equipment you're wearing. Anyway, they also have deep customization of the ships. You can change how they look, but when I played, I didn't spend much time doing that, because when you're flying around, at least I couldn't perceive this, but my ship just looked like every other ship. And hardcore Star Trekkers are going to be like, what the fuck? And I'm sorry. I like Star Trek, don't get me wrong, but it was because of that phobia I had mentioned at the beginning that I just couldn't really focus on the ship. Anyhow, I think this is going to be my last one on this batch. And if you guys like the mini tutorials of character creation, let me know. Send me a message via the comments. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see what other free-to-play games have somewhat decent character creators for me to showcase next. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Peace!